Hello and welcome into another edition of Cardinals Corner, but not just another edition of Cardinals Corner. Alongside me, as always, is Arizona Sports Cardinals reporter Tyler Drake. I am Arizona Sports Afternoon contributor Eric Ruby, but the most important man in the room right now is one of the highly sought-after offensive lineman free agents right now, a stalwart, the only man who started all 17 games for the Cardinals last season. You know him on and off the field. It's Kelvin Beachum. Kelvin, thank you for joining us today, man.
Thank you so much for having me. It's going to be a blast today. I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, yeah, you're doing the whole media rounds. You're hitting us up. You're hitting Burns and Gambo next.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. This is the first time I've ever been over to this far north for anything other than treatment. So this is cool to kind of just see everything that's going over here off of Bell.
There's a lot of different parts of Arizona if you just drive a couple minutes.
It really is. I had no idea that, you got PV, you got Arcadia, you got Phoenix that comes this far north, and then you got Scottsdale. You got this hodgepodge of communities. I just got to find the good food up this way now.
Yeah, I do. There's a ton of different options. I'm trying to think. Top of my head.
Well, the thing is, I don't have time tonight. If I had time tonight,
that's true.
I got a date with the wife tonight. But if I had time, I would have.
Tell you what, you come back, do another episode with us. We'll have a whole list of restaurants around here that you could go to.
Don't give me a list. Just bring the food in there.
Okay, fair enough. Are you confident?
I don't mind confident.
There we go.
If the food is good, I have no problem. Hey, listen. One thing that I don't mind splurging on is food.
It's a good philosophy.
I'm an offensive lineman.
I was going to say you have to be like that.
I'm a connoisseur when it comes to eating.
Is it splurging or is it training? Because you got to get your body right, man.
Well, the thing is the type of delicacies that I like within a restaurant or eating, can be somewhat expensive. So it is somewhat of a delicacy versus I'm just eating just to eat.
Yeah.
What's the go-to delicacy then?
The go-to delicacy is Wagyu, man.
Ooh.
Yes. I have cattle back at home, but I love to explore when I travel of being able to find a nice piece of Wagyu.
Let's talk about traveling a little bit because you're going to be taking a trip to Zambia very soon for a cause that's near and dear to your heart. I just want to give you the platform to tell the people what you're doing and how they can help if they want to.
For sure. A lot of people here in Arizona know that I volunteer with United Food Bank here in town. Have done that at every single stop. Every single stop. So Pittsburgh, Jacksonville, New York, and now here in Arizona. But what many people don't realize is we talk about, food insecurity here. Being able to have access to nutritious food, understanding the gaps and what side of town you're on. That'll depend on what type of food you get and if it'll be Sprouts versus what's the other places. So you got Fry's, but some of the Dollar Tree. Trying to go buy groceries from Dollar Tree, which they don't even sell groceries, but just the point of like the disparities between neighborhoods. But when you go on the global front, you realize that it's many countries and many communities in those countries that don't have access to water. I had that opportunity to go to Honduras back in 2016, saw it with my own eyes, and I was like, this can't be real.
Yeah.
And then, was in Africa in 2020, had an opportunity to, while I was traveling, getting away, just kind of unwinding, being able to see some of the disparities there. So being able to go to Zambia, this time around, as the kids grow older, we'll be taking them to some of these places as well. But donated 2 wells last year. And then right now on social, getting the community to match the other well that we're trying to put there. And excited to go there. It's going to be raining the whole time, so I actually need to find some rain clothes while I'm there. But it's going to be raining, but we're going to be going to go see those wells, seeing the water sprout out the ground for the first time. Water is almost like gold and oil there. It's a commodity. It's something that's needed. We take it for granted here.
Yeah.
But it's many countries that don't have access to even a bottle of Dasani water. So, want to find a way to be a part of that solution.
What, I guess, obviously you've wanted to give back in the States.
Yeah.
What really got you to go more globally and look at stuff outside of the United States?
Well, I think the game of football is a global game.
Yeah.
It's not just America's game, even though we in America think this particular sport is the powerhouse across the planet. But football is truly a global game. It's not the biggest. It's not soccer. It's not cricket, but it's still a global game. So if it's a global game, I think I need to take the approach of making sure that I'm being a part of this global game and being able to impact things on a global scale. So you can go anywhere in the country, anywhere in the world, and you say NFL, and I would imagine, or say Super Bowl, not even NFL.
Yeah.
You say Super Bowl,
They know.
and people to realize what you're talking about.
Can't always say football though.
Oh, you can't say football.
Can't always say football.
You can't say football. You got to say Super Bowl. It has to be a distinction.
Well, one thing about you that I've picked up and noticed, not just from watching you and learning about you, but just doing some more research before you came on, is that you're not just a 1 foot in type of guy. You like being involved, whether it was in high school, being in the band, whether it was in college.
You did your research, huh?
I'm telling you, man.
we did it, man.
I mean, because
we knew we were going to have you on.
You have to, just to kind of get a sense of the person, because football is football, and we will talk football. But you, first and foremost, are a person who likes to be involved in things. That includes being a part of the union rep for the NFLPA. What is it about you that just gravitates towards either a leadership role or just being the one that's involved?
I wouldn't say that it's a leadership role. A lot of people try to, hey, you're leading this, or you're directing this, or you're moving this forward. I just think it's the ability to know what you're good at and what you're not good at. Even though I was in the band in high school, I wasn't the drum major, but I supported them. Mm-hmm. I was in the multicultural society in high school. I don't think I was a president, but I supported the president. When I was in college, I was a captain, but I wasn't the go-to. I wasn't the front-facing captain. Even some of the things that I did in college, I wasn't always the guy. I was supporting, or I was supporting the male or the female that was leading in those particular roles. But I think from an involvement standpoint, it's I want to be involved and understand what's going on in the spaces that I happen to be in. And if I'm there, I need to lean in. And I think in leaning in, you either find stuff about yourself, you find stuff out about what's going on. You have this information arbitrage that you're able to kind of gather as you're spending time in those particular spaces. But anytime I start, doing something, I try to go all in. And I think that curiosity and the ability to learn in that particular vein has helped me. And it's helped me not only, on the football field, but it's helped me off the field as well.
So outside of just, you do more than just, giving back to Zambia, making the wells, STEM's big thing for you, educational equity, advocating just for, getting everybody technology that's needed around the states. And I've talked to you a little bit about your upbringing, just wanted to give everybody else kind of the sense of where you came from, why it's so important to give back, who you kind of look up to in that kind of arena.
I look up to my grandfather, my father. My grandfather has been blind since he was 19. He's between 95 and 98. I don't know the exact.
That's how you know you're old, right? Is that you don't know the exact age.
It's in that range.
Yeah.
I'm going back down to Texas this weekend, so I'll find out for sure. But he's in that range. But him and my father have been working on cars all their life. That's just the nature of what they do. They've been doing it for a long time. Seeing my dad get up every morning, just the consistency and the grind. That's who, I looked up to. We didn't have much. I say this quite often, is my first NFL check in 2012 was more than my parents made in an entire year. And I was a 7-round pick. So it's not, it's money, but my first NFL check, first NFL game check, was more than what my parents made in an entire year.
Wild.
So it puts you into context with where we came from. And they raised 4 kids, and we all went off and got scholarships. And they told us we can't pay for school. There is no ability for us to do that. But if you get good grades and if you happen to be good in sports, I think we'll find a way to support you as you go and do those things. Yeah. So I had a really good upbringing. I had great male role models. I had a great mother. I had a great community of people in and around me there in Mahia. And it's really been kind of the foundation of what I am today.
How big is Mahia?
7,500 people, man.
Okay.
I say this all the time, man. There's probably more cattle in Mahia than there are people. To be honest with you, it's the cattle we have are more than our family members. So, it's one of those things. It's a very, very small town. A couple lights. We got a Walmart. That was a big thing when we got Walmart in Mahia some years ago. But we got a couple things that are there in Mahia.
Yeah, I'm actually from a small town, and same kind of similar thing. We got more grapevines than we've got people, I think.
I am not from a small town, so I'm a little bit out of the loop here. But what I have noticed, and we talked to Lasita Smith, a teammate of yours, during the season, and he's also from a smaller town. And a lot of the times there's a certain mindset for people that come out of small towns. And I can ask this to both you, Tyler, and to you, Kelvin, is what is it that's actually different besides just, oh, it's small, or we don't have as many people? Like, about the community, the people that come out of there. What is different about coming from a community so small?
I think one is it's this fight or flight mentality. Like, I have to get out. How do I stay out? And then once I'm out, how do I then go and take care of or teach those in that community how to get out, and then how to fish in essence. Don't just give them fish. How you teach them how to fish. Yeah. So I think that's first and foremost like the number one thing that comes out. And then I think it's this realization that you do need people. And I think when you come from a smaller community, even as you continue to progress in life and you become successful in whatever vein that is, you're very collaborative because in your hometown you had to be collaborative because that's literally all you had. So you have to find a way to work together. But I think those two are really the main drivers of, I think, people who come from small towns. What about yourself?
Yeah. I think for me, it's more so about kind of making those people back home proud. Yeah. I think that's really, for me, at the end of the day, is really, all those people that helped me, like you said, being collaborative, getting to the point where I am today. It's like, hey, I got to make sure all those people in Kelseyville, California know, like, I still got you guys. Yeah. You got me. The feeling's mutual. So same exact feeling there, man. That's exactly how I feel.
Yeah, no doubt.
So how does that translate to now? You're entering year 12 now in the NFL. Do you understand how crazy that is? Like, does that hit you that you've played for over a decade in the National Football League?
Well, you put it that way, it hits a little differently.
Especially watching other guys just retire too. I mean, JJ.
Yeah.
Just seeing
Rodney just retired.
Yep.
So how are you feeling, man?
I'm on top of the world, man.
That's what I like to hear.
I'm on top of the world. I wouldn't trade this for anything. I still enjoy training. Still was in the gym this morning and walking into the gym, understanding the process that still has to be a part of the fabric of who I am. I enjoy that. I enjoy the mundane. I enjoy the boring stuff, to be honest with you. And that's what continues to drive. I mean, I understand that process, and I'm in love with that process. I enjoy that process. And that process is something that I take in other fields. But I enjoy the process of every year. In essence, you have to be a rookie again.
Yeah.
You have to be a rookie again. You have to relearn a system. You have to relearn people. It's a different locker room every single year. Yeah. It's different egos, every single year. It's different goals every single year, even though the main goal is winning the Super Bowl. But there are many goals that are wanting to be achieved by the team, by the coaches, by the GM and administration, by the business side of the organization, by the owner. Like, there is goals that are wanting to be accomplished. And I think for me, it's being able to be a part of that process. And we talked about being involved in that process, and being involved and being a contributor is what I enjoy the most. And, I've been a contributor for a couple years now, so it's been
I think that's putting it lightly.
Yeah, I would say lightly, dude.
Contributing is a good way to put it. It's accurate, but it's also, I think, underselling a bit as well. So when you talk about being on the field, the process, the boring, the mundane, but on Sundays, what is it that Kelvin Beachum can still bring?
Consistency and making sure my guy don't touch the quarterback.
That's all, right? That's it.
It's not complicated. It's making sure that the guy in front of me doesn't touch the quarterback. Now, will the quarterback have to shift from time to time, or will he feel like he has to step up in the pocket? Ain't nobody batting 1,000. Mm-hmm. But my job is to make sure that my guy or myself doesn't touch the quarterback. My job is to make sure that my guy doesn't touch the ball carrier. Yeah. It's a very simple concept. Now, the question is how do you do that consistently? Mm-hmm. And again, it goes back to taking pride in what I do, is taking pride in making sure that my guy doesn't make the play. That defensive lineman, that DN, that linebacker, whenever my number is called, then my guy is not in on the play. My guy's not hitting the running back. My guy's not touching the quarterback. And if you do that consistently enough, you'll be appreciated for doing so.
So speaking of the new guys in town, Have you been able to sit down and talk with Jonathan Gannon, Drew Petzing, any of the guys, Clayton Adams at all? And what's the feeling there?
Yeah. So I actually got to sit down with Coach Adams literally the day he got hired. Like, I happened to be in the office as he was rolling his back out of Gannon's office. Got to spend time with Gannon as well. I sat down with Monty. So I've had a chance to briefly be able to spend just a little bit of time with all the new faces, in the building. And then, still spending time with the guy who writes all the checks, for the organization. But, it's going to be change. And when you don't win, that's just the nature of this business. It's a business at the end of the day. But again, it's all about relationships, and relationships, whether they're here, whether they've left. You just never know how everything will work out. That's just the nature of the NFL and nature of football.
So what is that relationship like when, one, there's a new regime coming in, and two, you're a free agent. You're not under contract for the Arizona Cardinals, but you're still, around the building. And what is that like for you?
Yeah. I'm employed until they stop cutting the check.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
I try not to make it any bigger or any smaller than it really has to be.
Yeah.
Again, I go back to the relationships. It's the relationships in this game that matter the most. I can still, talk to Mr. Bitwell. I can still, if I needed to call Steve, I can still call Steve. If I need to call Cliff, I can still call Cliff. Like, it's the relationship.
You get long distance calls?
Well, these iPhones and AT&T.
I'm messing around. I'm messing around because the time. But
it's all good. I'm going to Singapore. Like, he can give me some tidbits. Like, but it's the relationship.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's the relationships that really matter. And the thing is those relationships, you never know how those relationships fit in to even the current regime.
Yeah.
Mike Munchak, which was my offensive line coach in Pittsburgh, was the guy who hired Gannon when he was in Tennessee.
Yep.
You just never know.
Small world that way.
How the world works. Adams, Coach Adams, was connected to Boise State.
Yep.
Cougs was at Boise State. Like, you just never know how all these things are connected. Monty was in New England before he was in Tennessee.
Yep.
He drafted people that I know extremely well. Nate Solder, Marcus Cannon. He's been around. He had in Tennessee, he had Jack Conklin. Like, people I know, people he knows. Like, there's always some type of commonality within the National Football League. It's, are you willing to put your pride aside to be able to look at what you have in common versus what you have that's different?
Okay. I guess, are you a big fisherman? I talked to Clayton Adams today, actually, and he told me that he's a big fisherman.
Man, so I fish. Here's something interesting, man. I told you I'm from the country. So I bought a tract of land a couple of years ago, and my grandfather's a huge fisherman. Like, that's what he does. Loves it. Like, that's just
what kind of fish?
Tyler was almost a professional fisherman.
I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
Okay.
But we had this tract of land, and I was like, I want some water on the land.
Okay.
So talked to some friends, and we dug a big hole. And the hole happened to be, about an acre and a half or so.
It's a big hole.
It's a big hole. And I asked my grandfather, like, what do you want? Like, I want some bluegill.
Okay.
Some bluegill in there. I want some catfish. All right, put some catfish in there. I want some big mouth bass. Well, how big do you want your bass?
There we go.
You put the bass in there. I want some crappie. All right, put some crappie in there. I want some perch. All right, put some perch in there. Like, whatever you want.
Yeah.
Literally.
That's awesome.
So from time to time, literally, he doesn't have to pay to go fish anywhere. Doesn't have to pay a lease to go anywhere.
Yeah.
He got a key to the gate. Whenever he want to go over there, he can go over there.
That's awesome.
And that's what's great. This platform that's been given to me, the blessings that come with it is you are able to bless other people. My grandfather is a very, very simple man. All he wants to do is go fish. Grandpa, go fish. The one thing that he's asked for that I haven't gotten him yet is he wanted a pier. So he wanted so he wants me to build him a pier from the ground that kind of goes out to probably halfway.
Got to have some structure for the fish, man.
He wants to have some structure. Put trees around the pond, so we got nice shade cover. But now he wants a pier, so that's the next thing that I got to get for him.
Yeah. All right, I got to shift to our next thing because we are a little bit on a clock right now.
My fault.
No, that was me. I went on the tangent, man.
Listen, man, I would sit here and listen to you guys talk fish for days. I got no idea what's going on. So something I do know that's going on, obviously, is your free agency. I just want to know, for you, has there been a lot of interest out there for somebody who's as reliable as you are?
It's been quite a bit of interest. It's been cool to receive that type of interest, considering where things were prior to the pandemic. I mean, in essence, we're just now kind of getting out of that kind of pandemic slump from a capital standpoint, and people are starting to deploy capital. Cap went up as well, and it's been really good interest. Nice. That's why I feel comfortable going to Zambia during free agency.
That was my question: is how do you keep track of everything? I mean, league year starts on the 15th, and I'm gonna guess you're over there.
I won't be back until the 21st.
So what? I mean, how does that stretch of time work? Is that just more of an agent kind of taking things over?
I'm confident in my abilities. I'm confident in what the product that I put out on the field. Mm-hmm. And then I need time with my wife. You know, we want to go and serve. It's been a while since we had an opportunity to do so. This just happened to be a week that I put on the calendar last year, and it just happened to be during free agency. But I'm confident in what I did for 17 Sundays throughout the year, and I'm confident in my body of work. And if you look at the body of work versus the age, you will see that the production has continued to go up as I've gotten older. So I've gotten better as I've gotten older, not declined as I've gotten older.
Has the world of sports maybe started to take a turn from that idea of the early 30s as the end of your athletic career, not just in football, but all around? You see guys that are excelling into their mid, late 40s, and even Tom Brady, who goes farther than that.
Yeah. You know, I just think that there have been more resources around the game and around sports that allow you to really lean into that. But you also have to realize there used to be a time where guys used to play a decade plus, and that was the norm. Yeah. You know, you look at Ray Brown, who's around here, you know, played for 20 years. Mm-hmm. You know, you look at Jackie Slater, like played for 20 years. Mm-hmm. You look at Orlando Pace, decade plus. Jonathan Ogden, decade plus. You know, Will Shields, decade plus. Like, it's, you know, Brad Hopkins, decade plus. Like, it's guys that have played this game at a high clip for a very long time, and that's just I think it's come back into favor in some instances. I mean, Andrew Whitworth, you know, decade plus. Marshall Yonda, decade plus. Like, I just think that if you are reliable and if people can trust you, and if you're at that age and at that point on the back end of your career, they still see that you love the game and they still see that you want to put the effort and the time into the game, they're willing to compensate you. Now, a lot of those are, you know, high-round picks, and I think what's different about me is I'm kind of a low-round pick. I mean, Jason Peters, you know, Tyron Smith. I mean, it's Trent Williams. I mean, the list can go on and on, but if they see that you have the willingness to continue to do what's needed to be successful, I think they'll find a place for you.
What kind of fit or I guess situation are you looking for?
The number one situation I'm looking for is, can I play on grass?
Okay.
That is like the thing that I'm optimizing for, is the ability, to play on grass.
Okay.
Many people don't think about that, but
that was not going to be the first option. I was.
Would most of the teams reaching out to you know that? Like,
they know that,
and they still got that interest in it.
That. But I mean, there's been some teams that have turf as well, and I'm fine with that. It's just, you ask the question, and people have asked the question, like, hey, what are you optimizing for? I want to play on grass.
Yeah.
Which, you know, I played on grass the last 3 years, and I would say only 3 out of the 12 years that I've been playing has been on turf, and it was in New York.
Okay.
You know, otherwise, I've been on grass. But it's something special about playing on grass. I love nature. I love grass. I mean, it's a lot, but I just love playing on grass. So that's what I'm optimizing for. And then secondly, will you allow me to start? You know, And if you want to allow me to, give me opportunity to go take it, which I have no problem with going and taking a job and going and earning the right to call myself a starter. So it's the ability to be in a situation where those two things match up. But I'm not wed to grass, but I'm more than happy to play on grass another couple of years.
Okay.
All right, I got a couple more things before we got to wrap it up here. Now, you are a union rep for the NFLPA, and
not this year.
Not this year, but you have been involved.
Yeah, I'll be back next year.
Okay.
So you're going to be one in the future.
Yeah.
Now, the NFLPA released their first ever report card, and the Cardinals' grades were lackluster. And I was wondering, from your perspective, what needs to or could be done to improve those from your firsthand experience?
I think it's an opportunity to I see it as an opportunity, not so much, hey, that's what it was. I mean, you look at teams, I mean, it's negative marks up and down.
Oh, yeah.
The National Football League. Nobody's batting 1,000, and just like no player is batting 1,000, But I think, there's an opportunity for there to be growth. And I think the first place is being able to, impact, the things that are directly impacting the players. At the end of the day, we're labor. Let's just call it what it is. Players are labor. We're entertainment. We're working for the fans, working for the organization. We're independent contractors. And I just think just being able to make sure that there are resources to allow your labor and your independent contractors to be at their best. Yeah. And, I know the organization is going to do everything that they can to continue to push that ball forward to allow the team and the people that are working for the team, labor and entertainment, to be at their best. And I think it's professional sports. At the end of the day, we're all trying to get better. Yeah. In whatever fashion that is, whether it's a facility, whether it's a player, whether it's a quarterback, whether it's a GM, whether it's an owner, whether it's a coach. I think at any point in time, we're all trying to get better. I just think that getting this particular feedback and having it blast all over the internet was something that I don't think anybody saw coming, to be honest with you.
Okay.
But, to take it and run with it, which it hit Wall Street Journal, it hit USA Today. You had people on Twitter going after it. I don't think anybody saw that was going to be the case. But I mean, it kind of
snowballed a little bit there.
Snowballed and got a life of his own.
Yeah.
But I think at the end of the day, I think anybody who loves to compete would love constructive criticism. How do I get better?
Yeah, should be looking for the improvements.
Yeah. How do I improve?
Yeah. All right. I think we got to jump to a little bit the light side of things. What do you think?
It's not light. I have beef with you, actually.
What you got?
The couple podcasts I listened to, each one you had a kid with you. You had the third in there, but this I was expecting maybe
they're in school. They're in school right now. I mean,
it's not spring break. It's not spring break.
What's today? Today is
it's Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Yeah, it's Wednesday. Okay.
Yeah, they get.
I was just hoping.
So you want me to tell my son I got to take him out of extended day to come in here and listen to me talk?
Hey, I'm sure he'd be pumped.
No, he would be pissed off because he loves extended day. Like school gets out at like 3:30 and they have like extended day where a kid used to do whatever.
I retract my beef. I forgot that school was actually a thing, and it's very important, much more important than Cardinals Corner.
Okay, but sticking with that though, you guys are golfers, right?
Yeah.
So how'd you get into that? How much you guys play?
So we actually played. I came back into town Friday evening. We actually played Alcatel together. Actually, me and my younger two. So K3 and Janelle played Alcatel. But it gives us the opportunity to be able to hang out in a much different fashion. When I was a kid, my dad used to go play basketball with us. Okay. Basketball is not something that I should be playing right now at this age and considering some of the consequences that may come with just the wrong turn. But golf is an amazing sport. It's a sport that allows us to be a family, and they take their driver and they take their putter, and I let them drive off the tee, off the women's tee, and then I let them get on the green and putt. All I ask is when Daddy walks back to the golf cart to go to the next hole that you're already on the golf cart. So whatever you do while I'm chipping or I'm putting, all I ask is that you get back on the golf cart and you're on the golf cart. So when I get in the golf cart and I put my club back in the bag, we're moving.
I'm pretty sure I was told that by my grandpa, my father, my mom, probably a couple uncles. Yeah. What are some of your favorite courses out here?
Silverleaf.
Okay.
Oh my.
Okay. I have not played there yet.
Oh my.
Have you gone to Gold Canyon yet?
I have not.
Dinosaur Mountain, man.
I have not. I've been to is it Miraval? That's
Yeah.
Rivera is another good one.
Okay.
And then I love the Raven. I'm really in love with the Raven.
The Raven.
I love the Raven. The Raven is just a nice public course that's, upkept, done really well. So love the Raven. Played that track quite a bit. And then I was told about Foothills.
Okay.
I haven't played Foothills, but it's really close to my kids' school. So I'm trying to find a place I can go hit a couple balls before I pick the kids up, or after I pick the kids up, go and hit a couple balls with the kids. And then there's another spot called Whirlwind.
I know that spot.
that I haven't played yet, but again, close to the school where I can my thing is, as you get kids, you gotta formulate and build around their schedule. So like, what can I do that I like, that I can build with them, and we could do something together.
Yeah,
so.
I got a 1.5-year-old right now.
Well,
I got a number 2 on the way.
It's a little early. You got some time.
Trying to formulate that plan.
Yeah,
early.
you got some time.
What do you usually shoot out there? What's your handicap?
Oh man, we don't need to get into that.
Okay,
right
okay.
All right,
so best club. What's your best club and your worst club?
My best club, it's probably a 9.
Okay.
Do pretty well with a 9. I do pretty well with my 60. My short game is actually okay.
Okay.
For me, it's getting out the tee.
Okay.
Sometimes I'm hitting it straight, and sometimes
Got the boomerang.
I got the boomerang, man.
You won't play basketball, but you are going to watch tonight. You're going to Kevin Durant's home debut at Footprint Center.
It's
his home debut.
Really?
Yeah, so it's going to be electric in there.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I just picked the game.
You picked a great one.
You picked the best game.
I picked the game because me and my wife, I've been out of town, been ripping and running, and I'm finally in town. I was like, hey, let's go for a date. There's a friend of mine that's working over there for the Suns, and he's been asking me to come. And he was like, whenever you want to come, just let me know. I was like, hey, I see they're playing the Thunder. I'm like, ain't nobody coming to the Thunder, man.
Lo and behold.
I mean, I had no idea.
Gonna be rocking it.
Yeah, and then it's another game, the Spurs, because that's my team.
Oh, okay.
The Spurs are coming to town, and I'll be going to the game when they play the Spurs. But I just picked this game. We're finna get ready to head out of the country. Let's do something fun real quick. I've been on the road. Let's go. Just go have a good time.
Yeah, you picked the right game to have some fun, man.
I had no idea.
It's gonna be electric in there, and also for the Spurs, when you guys get Wembanyama, that's gonna be great. That number 1 overall pick for the Spurs is gonna be perfect.
My Spurs have been struggling a little bit since.
You go to the championship parade here, and then go to draft
since
lottery.
these two guys have retired. It's been a little.
Wait, I thought the championship was in Sacramento.
Oh, that's funny. This guy's a Kings fan, so no, the championship runs through Phoenix this year. Everybody knows it.
I actually think it may run through Dallas, to be honest with you.
Oh, get out!
No.
And I'm not a Mavs fan, but I think it may run through Dallas. It's not running through LA, which is what everybody wants for it to happen.
No, it is not.
And the thing is, I happened to be watching the Celtics play last week, and Celtics and the Bucks. And I don't know if either of those teams have the ability to close it out this year. So we'll see.
Tell you what, man, we could talk a little hoops later, but for now, we got to wrap this up because you got to go do some segments on Burns and Gambo making the rounds today. But once again, Kelvin Beachum, thank you for joining us. Current free agent, been a stalwart for the Cardinals, only player to start all 17 games on offense last season. Tell them where they can find whatever they need to get involved with the organization.
Yes, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, Kelvin Beachum. I keep it simple. Go in, check it out. If it works for you, it works for you. If not, I just solicit your prayers. Going out of the country, I always want to be safe.
Yeah.
And then worldvision.com/Beachum, right?
Yep.
Worldvision.com/Beachum to get involved with the water well.
And just for me, man, I just want to say I appreciate the respect and the professionalism you showed me just out in the field. So really appreciate it, man.
Yes, sir. Anytime.
All right, man. We'll wrap it up for now, but you can follow Kelvin wherever he just said. You can follow Tyler at TDrake4Sports. Follow myself at Eric Ruby. Follow the show at AZ Cards Corner. We'll be back probably breaking down some draft stuff for you guys next week. But until then, enjoy football.